Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always is Devon.
Hello, Rick. What would you like your avatar to be?
Well, I don't think you get much of a choice, do you?
But if you did get a choice, what would you want it to be? Because I know which one I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be that little fuzzy thing that you usually see on the end of string.
The fuzzy thing on the end of the string?
Yeah, it's one of the original batches when you get the flashback with Kinga's flashback to meeting Queenie for the first time, and the bunch of the other avatars that we assume must be his colleagues.
Yeah, I would very much assume that I would prefer to have fingers, so maybe not that. Do you remember the like splat shark thing?
Splat shark thing.
So there was a shark that looked like a toy.
Well, they all look like toys.
Well, okay, they all look like toys. Like hell, I'll even take Gummy Goo over something without fingers.
So
like Bubble.
That is technically not an avatar.
Yeah, but he.
I get what you mean. It's all good.
Yeah. He has the same like requirements. He has limbs. He has a mouth that works. He has the fingies. I don't know. I'm always a bit of a basic bitch. I like my foxes, but not everyone can be a furry. That's just boring. So I'll just leave it up to the RNG to decide.
I mean, again, the question would be, what would be your preference? Your preference would be one of the furry-esque avatars.
Yeah, I generally prefer the furry-esque ones, but there's a few that are super chaos, and that would be kind of cool too. So that's how much more digital can you get than digital chaos. How about you? Do you have a preference?
I mean, I do, and I've got an answer for my own question, but I don't know what you mean by digital chaos. It just seems to be like, any old fucker. That seems to be what your answer was.
Well, the digital chaos for me is things like Gangle and Zooble.
Right, okay, well, say that.
Yeah,
with all due respect.
Like Zooble obviously is made of things that they have pulled together out of a bit box. Gangle is
ribbons and a mask.
Just kind of held together with super glue and a sprayer.
I mean, Zooble appears to be an attempt to make a copyright-free version of Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, and then Gooseworks' personal avatar is just another member of Zooble's race.
I absolutely adore the image of Gooseworks holding a whip, and she's complaining to some geese, saying that you must work harder. From now on, you shall work 25 hours a day, therefore making the geese work.
Yeah, the geese indeed work.
It's such a dumb fucking image, but it makes me laugh every time I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? What's going to be your pick?
I mean,
Avatar?
Given their overall appearance, I think a chess piece isn't the worst way to go, and I'd probably pick Rook if I had a choice, just because you get it's slightly more dignified than a knight.
Yeah. In fact, I think rooks look more like kings than the king and queen do, because the crenellations around the castles.
Yeah, I totally get you, but I don't know, man. I think the queen looks pretty queeny, but the kings look more akin to a pope, which is weird considering there's a bishop on the board.
Yeah. You could also do some cute things with the top of your head. Like, if you needed to, I don't know, make pancakes at some point, you could just, produce it from the top of your head.
You're allowed to do what you like with whatever weird body modifications you get. However, I disagree with that idea.
Sure.
I mean, you got to bear in mind, Rick, you know this about me. I'm very fond of the human form.
Yeah. So even going as far as changing into a chess piece is a big deal for you.
In my opinion, personally, yeah, it's just being turned into like a rag doll, or, as you say, ribbons and a mask is a bit more of a step than just chess piece. At least a chess piece you can I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just because I like Kinga.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so.
And speaking of Kinga, Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah. I think of the... Okay, Band-Aid off. We're going to be talking about the amazing digital circus, predominantly the finale, but also harkening back to other parts of the series as we go along. There is a new character revealed in this finale. We get to finally meet Ribbit. Ribbit is incredibly cute. I can't quite tell whether Ribbit is cuter than Ragatha, but I really adore both of their designs.
It depends what you mean by cute. Do you mean cute as in their design or cute as in the character themselves? Because we don't see enough of Ribbit compared to Ragatha for the latter, in my opinion. If it's based on just appearance, then I'd rather fuck the frog.
Yeah, I'm really split down the middle. For both, to be honest.
And guess what? Guess what, Rick? When you're finished with either of them, they'll be split down the middle.
Oh, hey, ha 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 ha. No, it's okay, I'm small. Yeah, so we do actually get to see a decent amount of Ribbit, because we get, like some protracted flashback scenes that Pomni gets to watch.
We do, and we'll get to that in a bit, I think. But yes, before we actually go to the episode in depth, because unlike before, we're giving it its own fucking retro, because it's that big of a deal. Amazing Digital Circus is finished. A bit of background information. Rick and I both had very different viewing experiences. I went to watch this in the cinema. I watched the last act. I also re-watched the episode today, just to make sure that it's fresh in my memory and I can actually not completely fumble the ball when Rick mentions things.
Yeah. Because it only was available to non-cinema goers from last weekend, I also watched it today.
Literally came out on Friday.
It did, yeah.
2
So
days.
when I say last weekend, I mean the weekend that has just happened.
Okay, yes. Also in
because
context,
this weekend is coming.
And also in context for people who are listening to this, it was out a week ago. If you don't want to be spoiled for the Amazing Digital Circus, pause, go watch it, and then come back. You've been warned. And also, it's out for free on YouTube. If you're able to listen to this podcast, you're able to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. And have been able to watch all the other episodes before now.
Absolutely. Now, Rick, there is something I do want to touch upon before we go into the episode proper as well. With the cinema release, it released both episode 8 and 9 stitched together, so it went straight from one to the other, which granted you can just do on YouTube anyway. The other thing that it did is it included a very small preamble. First of all, there was a 2-minute long flashback that summarised the entirety of episodes 1 to 7, basically the key facts from each episode, just to give people a bit of an update. And before we got that, we got my favourite side character, and that is Badly Animated Fish, giving the audience an announcement.
What does Badly Animated Fish say?
It's like, hey guys, don't spoil shit please, which, I appreciate people giving people that advice, because some people don't know, but for the vast majority of people, spoilers are going to spoil. It's also, continued the running gag of the red fish just said, I can't even remember what they said at this point, because it was weeks ago, but they said something at the end, and we got the famous line of, dude, you ruined it.
Yeah, isn't it one of those Zach Hadel?
Yes, that is the yellow fish.
Yeah.
It was a very weird one, because it was back to back for me, because I watched the Haluva Boss episode, not Haluva Boss, the Has Been Hotel episode, where he played a random casino goer, followed by this, and I was like, man, Zach's busy.
Yep.
And that was before Smiling Fronds came to an end.
Yeah, between us seeing one of the last episodes and them announcing that it was going to be the last, and then popping out the extra couples.
Absolutely. Also he mentioned that because I guess there is a possibility of this happening. The Badly Animated Fish mentioned that by the way, this is based on a YouTube series. All episodes are available for free. If you've not watched them, you've got 2 minutes to get caught up. And then they gave us the little catch up. So if you went into this not realizing that it was a special event, as it were, as opposed to a standalone film, you do at least know what's going on enough to not be completely lost.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, so, for those of you who are not super aware, and for those of you who are and really enjoy people talking about it, that's probably more likely. The Amazing Digital Circus follows the gang of humans who have been Sword Art Online into this, digital circus.
Rick, is that actually accurate given the final? Because I don't know anything about Sword Art Online, but aren't the scenarios quite different?
Only because we know that in the finale. Until then, they know that, as far as they're concerned, they are the original players. Okay,
but Rick, we're talking, remember the way we're doing the episode today is we're talking about the finale and then linking back to anything from other episodes, as opposed to going through the whole thing.
Yeah, the finale pretty much opens with Kinga just revealing, we're not real. We're just all recreations of some brain scans that the AI took at some point. and the different characters react to this generally negatively and are trying to work their way through it.
Well, that's the thing that this episode does somewhat beautifully. Yes, some steps are skipped because it has to. You've only got an hour of runtime here. But the initial reaction is just like, fuck. But the end reaction is just like, yeah, but it doesn't matter though.
Yeah, it's acceptance. Like they were going to be, they needed to have the acceptance anyway, but the nice little bit of closure that they get of being able to learn about each other is really nice. So that's us as viewers also getting to learn about these people at the same time. And I don't know how much the player characters know about themselves.
I mean, everything up until their brain got scanned, plus minus their actual names, because Kane appears to have scrubbed that on purpose.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure Pomni knows that she was going through the place where she put the headset on just as an explorer, then put it on, and then, as it would seem, the real person just took the headset off and left, and then continued with the rest of her life.
Oh, I don't think that she found that headset while exploring something.
I think she did.
No, it's a bit vague. She mentions in the episode that she likes to go urban exploring, but she never mentions she finds a headset randomly abandoned. Also, where would it have power from?
Yeah, so the place apparently is abandoned, but not that abandoned because the power is still running, and that's the power that's still running the circus.
I'm not sure about that one. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying, like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, yes, she put a headset on, and yes, her brain scan got taken, but I don't think it was taken via the exploring.
Yeah, but Jax continues to be a shit.
I want to point out this episode made me like, before now I was just like, fine, Jax is being a funny character, and they're using defense mechanisms to not get close to people because people can just extract like random, and then we realized that Jax is directly responsible for 2 people extracting. Fuck Jax.
Yeah. Very definitely responsible for Ribbit. Probably responsible for Kaufmo.
Definitely responsible for Ribbit. Perhaps not directly responsible for Kaufmo, but definitely the final push.
Yeah, they were like a trio of true companions, and if they had stayed as such, then none of this would have gone down the way that it did. However, they also knew that abstraction was a thing.
I've got to be real with you. I feel like Kaufmo was a real third wheel. In pretty much every relationship in the circus.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adore...
It's also kind of nice to see that he was just a guy.
I was going to say, I absolutely adore the gag of here's this wacky-looking character because, he's a clown, and just, he sounds like Bob from The Office.
yeah, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the best version of that character that they could have had. Like, he's not a sad clown, he's not, he's a super wacky fella. He's just a fella.
Yeah, just a dude. And it really is a great payoff. I do appreciate that they revealed the big secret straight away with the brain scan thing. However, I think if you were surprised by this, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
Like episode 7 is probably still my favourite beach episode, where it's the whole fake adventure of meeting Kane and meeting Abel and trying to break free. And we get that moment where they rope Kinger in, and it's like, we think we found a way to escape, and it's just Kinger peeking out from his hidey hole of shadow and being like, escape, but that shouldn't, and then he sees light and he goes all doolally again.
Yeah. It's also, like, we don't actually see much more about how abstraction works anymore, but we kind of don't need to, because now that we know that these are just not real people now anymore, they're just approximations, then that kind of puts it into more perspective of them just they just lose their sense of self and just become garbage data.
Well, yeah, okay, let's touch on what you brought up there, because abstraction, first of all, as you correctly say, is it appears to be data getting fucked up beyond redemption. It can't be put back together, and therefore abstracted beast. The second thing is, I don't think calling them not real people doesn't really work. They're still people, they're just digital.
Yeah, digital people. They're digital echoes of real people. And also, this is the only time that we get to see anybody try what Pomni does, as in, hug an abstracted form and try and go inside it.
Well, before we dive into that, I just want to point out the very obvious fact that abstraction is now almost a one-for-one analogy for suicide.
Yes.
Like, Ribbit...
Or it is now, at least.
Yeah, now. It was unclear before now, but at this point, it's like, cool. Jax clearly couldn't take it anymore and wanted out. Ribbit was so isolated and alone, and purposefully isolated by Jax, that she offed herself. Kaufmo went insane. There's no better way of explaining it.
Yeah, and although that does put it into perspective a bit more strangely about the earlier ones.
Well,
like,
did
they all try and self-terminate, or is it just them going insane?
Well, it could be both. It really could be both. It doesn't have to be one for one. But at the same time, bear in mind the original batch were the creators, or rather worked in the field, so they were aware of AI technology and vaguely what was going on. They might not have realised straight away, and it could just be fundamentally finding out that you're a program. Your default response is, well, fuck this then.
Yeah, I guess so.
I want to bring up a discussion I had with the friend that I went to see this with in the cinema, which was straight afterwards, straight after on the ride home. He was just saying like, so none of them are real, so at that point you just off yourself. And it's just like, okay, think about what you just said for a second. This was me talking. If you were told right now, this second, that everything you know, everything about the world is just a simulation and not real, would you immediately kill yourself? And he said no. I went, okay, how is that different than what happened in this story?
Yeah, pretty much one for one exactly. That as far as they're concerned, even though they know that they're not real, it still has value for them to continue the rest of their lives such as they are. And that's the thing, like, because of that, we can get more. It's just that the real story has ended.
Absolutely. There could be much more. Like, if Gooseworks really wanted to, she could make a prequel series showing how Scratch and Co. went mad and eventually abstracted. I wouldn't be particularly interested in that. I'd rather Gooseworks works on different things, but I'd watch it.
Yeah. Like Scratch being the puppy, and wasn't he? Yeah, he was given form by specifically Kane, as far as I'm aware.
But he would have been the first one roped in, I guess.
Yeah, like he was the first one to get abstracted, but he might not have been the first one to join, because the other ones were kicking about, like Queenie, the dinosaur one whose name escapes me.
I don't know. I don't think any of them were given names apart from Kinga, Queenie, and Scratch.
Apparently they are.
Okay.
Spike, Ratty, Bizco, and Wormo.
Wormo's the thing I was talking about for sure, because it looks like a fuzzy worm on a string. That's what I was talking about, the one that I would not want to be, because that's just like, that's hell. I appreciate that now that I can see it. But yeah, I don't think the names are real names. Obviously they're not their real names, because we know that, but obviously the names are just, this is what you look like, so that's what I'm calling you. You can imagine Kane saying that, right?
Yeah, especially for someone like Ratty. But yeah. So that is a weird one where I don't think all of the abstractions are specifically suicide, but for the ones that matter, it's very definitely what it means.
Well, here's the thing, Rick. Every single abstraction that we saw was a suicide.
Yeah. So it's a corruption beyond the point of no return that can spread. So it could be that the others before now spread it to each other in some degree, or that it was some kind of just general corruption. But yeah, the ones that we know about more recently, they were all suicide coded.
But I mean, like, you're saying that, but we saw it with Pomni with the aftermath of Jax, where she is in physical pain after, crippling pain after touching Jax, and it's that is one of the arguments for assisted suicide.
Yeah.
So you can keep the analogy going if that's the analogy you want to go for.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gangle's gone through almost all of her arms. Oh, sorry, their arms.
You mean Zubul?
To try and get. Zubul has gone through nearly all of their arms to help get Worm Jax into his hole.
Yeah, we need to talk about Jax for a second here, because there's something interesting going on with Jax. Now, I want to point out, I'm a moron, and yes, you do need to be more obvious. Because, and this is from basically Word of God here, because it's Gooseworks saying it. Jax is meant to be trans, and that's meant to be the big takeaway from the flashbacks, is the big secret that Jax came out with to their mother was they're trans. So they're actually a woman presenting as a man to not have have issues. So they want to in their soul, they are a woman, but they don't go through with it in reality because it's too much hassle, for lack of a better word. Like, you know how trans people are treated. That was not clear to me.
No.
Because after that revelation, the characters still call Jax he, him. And therefore, I assumed that the big secret was, oh, he must be gay or something.
Yeah. It's one of those where Jax ever wanting to do any form of transition, like the door is slammed on that story arc, and the focus is on everything else that he does, and just acts as. I think the only positive thing about his journey in that respect is acceptance of the maid uniform, which he rocks, by the way.
So all that to say is that Rick and I might be referring to Jax as a he, him, but that's because the show does it. We are aware that he is meant to be a trans allegory. Not even an allegory, he is trans, or she is trans. The person is trans, Jax was not yet.
Yeah, like, at the very least, genderqueer and experimenting.
Well, again, word of God, Rick.
Yeah.
There is no ambiguity here. Gooseworks has said Jax is meant to be trans. More people should have got this. And it's like, I'm sorry, it just was not that clear, especially when the characters keep calling Jax he, and they don't change that. Even Zubul keeps calling Jax he, and it's Zubul. Zubul is a they. They should understand a bit better.
Yeah.
Although, in Zubul's defense, Zubul did not go inside Jax's mind palace.
This is true. Jax having a mind palace at all is completely different to all of the other abstractions that we've seen.
But as you pointed out, Rick,
because it was recent.
Less it being recent, more no one else has tried to touch them. It was very weird. It was also really stupid of Pomni to just do this without telling anyone.
Yeah.
She got saved last minute by, I don't know, the other people giving a fuck. Which in itself can be a bit of a message.
I mean, that was pretty much the allegory for the entire... Well, not even the allegory. It was the message of the entire episode. Like, other people giving a fuck can be the thing that saves you, as you say. And people tried. And, yeah, there's that one bit of voiceover from Pomni, like, maybe I should have pried a little harder, because that's the last time that she sees him when he comes up to her, says, hey, and then never mind and fucks off. That's the last he ever says to anybody.
Yeah, but also fuck Jax.
And the very next scene, he's just zooming about.
I was very much Gangle, reaction-wise, to the abstraction, because, the abstraction was really sudden, and, it wasn't in-universe. In-universe, it took a while, but for us, the viewers, it happened like that. I tried to click, and I didn't work, because my hands are sweaty. But... when it cuts to Gangle, and Gangle is depressed, not because Jax abstracted, because she can't shed any tears for him, I'm just like, I'm with you, Gangle. Jax was a piece of shit to you. Why would you cry in this moment?
Oh, absolutely. I'm kind of more on Zubul's side of just being mad at him for doing it behind everyone else's back like a coward.
Oh, you're calling the person who committed suicide a coward. That's interesting.
I'm siding with the person who is calling him a coward.
I see. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where you get to see the whole gamut of grief here, except for Kinga. Kinga's just like, I'm busy trying to not destroy the circus.
Yeah. Now knowing that even Ragatha's real person isn't that old makes it a lot less. It puts it into perspective that yes, she's been there pretty much the longest. She's like one of the ones who's been there almost as long as Kinga, but it's still not like 20 years long or anything.
Like, we saw it in an episode. Ragatha popped in when everyone else abstracted post Kinga. She is the oldest minus Kinga's group, and Kinga's the only survivor from that group.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, it could have been a long time ago, because Kinga's old as shit, it's fine. But turns out he's not that old.
Rick, he's 44!
He's just, he's just a dad.
No, Rick, he's
not
44
like 75.
after the amount of time that's elapsed from the circus going.
Yeah.
Which means he was even younger than that when his brain scan got taken. There's a possibility he was younger than you when he got scanned.
Yeah, like almost entirely.
Kinga's old as shit, says the man who might be older than him.
Well, I'm not old. Yeah, okay, yeah. But like, it was coded as being like really old in the in the writing, or so it felt to me. Like he was meant to be some kind of. I thought he was meant to be like in his 60s or 70s.
I don't know how you got that. Well, no, okay, I can see where you got that from, but to me, he always seemed like, granted, I thought he was like pushing 50 as opposed to just over 40, compared to everyone else who is in their 20s.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I didn't think any of the main gang was in their teenage years, which I don't think they are, except for maybe Jax.
I think Jax might be the one that's the youngest. But yeah, like Pomni's like 25.
Well, Pomni even said it earlier on that she was an accountant, and fuck being an accountant if you're a teenager.
Yeah. But yeah, like we get to see the things in Jax's mindscape, and the vast majority of this, they are the memories of Ribbit.
Before we get to the memories of Ribbit, we get the other more interesting part of his psyche, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, the backstory is appreciated and it fills in quite a few blanks, but the more interesting thing to me is this is what this is how Jax would react depending on who gets abstracted.
Yeah,
and he just assumes
different reactions depending on who else is extracted, and he just assumes that he's not going to be the first. And for Pomni, he just assumes that she knows that she can't die and just tries to strangle her.
No, that was actually Ragatha. Ragatha got abstracted there, and in Jax's mind, if Ragatha goes, Pomni will be the new Ragatha, and that's why the scenario ended up as it was. If Zubul goes, he assumes that Gangle will turn into Manager Gangle and busies herself with
organising the funeral.
Pretty much, and like funerals have always been performative, and I guess Jax just assumes that Gangle would take it to the nth degree, and then Jax decides to hit on her because if Zubul's not there, I guess that means Jax has a shot.
Oh man, that's some sociopathic behavior right there.
I mean, I believe Gooseworks implied that Jax is one of those self-hating trans people that lives on 4chan.
Yeah.
And just assumes that if Gangle was the one to abstract, Zubul will blame Jax, and therefore try to kill Jax in Looney Tunes-esque fashion, which was a very fun animation sequence, by the way, but also really grim view that he has on Zubul.
Yeah, it's grim and probably kind of true.
I really wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think Zubul would go quite that far.
No, but I'm pretty sure that they would blame him.
Well, yeah, because Jax has been responsible for 2. Granted, the group doesn't quite know that, but...
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure Kaufmo knew about Ribbit.
I don't think he did. Kaufmo seemed quite oblivious. In fact, Kaufmo even says in one of the flashback sequences, just like, listen, I know you and Ribbit are close. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, Kaufmo seems to be quite oblivious at the best of times.
Yeah, and like saying, hey, have you seen Ribbit, like, at all today? And yeah, that's the day that she's gone. Yeah, Ribbit, incredibly cute.
Yeah, this was evil what Jax did. Now I understand there will be some people defending Jax, and you're allowed to, but please know that you're wrong. Jax's background and the things leading up to this explain why they did what they did. They in no means excuse it, and if you think it does, you're a moron.
Yeah, like Jax, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't know that any of the other players are real. He just thinks that they're just NPCs.
No, that was a defense mechanism, Rick. Up until this point, he didn't do that. They started doing that literally because, I need to back up. I've overshared. Things are spiraling. This is not right. This is not fair. This world isn't real.
Yeah, and because he's done this to Pomni in an earlier episode where he opens up a bit, and then at the end of the episode he turns around and goes, haha, you're an idiot for believing me, and just unloads on her and just turns into an asshole again to drive her away and stop her from, getting too close.
Yeah, that was the Guns episode, the episode that predicted the Fortnite collab. And it was a degree worse than that, because I believe that scene also accompanied Jax shoving her away, specifically to the ground, which is literally a one-for-one as to what Jax experienced in the real world that made them run away.
Yeah. Pushing someone to the ground, the person not getting up, and not sticking around to find out if he'd killed someone.
Yeah. Jax is scum. I'm not saying Jax's mother was a decent person. By all accounts, they seem to have been a hag at best. Again, I didn't quite know it was the trans confession that Jax made. I thought it was more like just generally being gay. But it's not an uncommon story to hear about teenagers specifically coming out to someone they love and trust and then being mocked for it.
Yeah. Honestly, I even thought that it was just a follow-on from what he was talking about before, that if he was, when he was bad, he was just as bad as his father. When he was good, he was not as good as his father. And I just assumed assumed it was a fallout from talking about that and saying, this is not fair on me, and then getting laughed out from that. So, like, even that is a reasonable thing to think, because that's the line of thought that was obvious to me at the time.
Well, here's the thing, Rick. If that was the case, then why wouldn't he just outright say that? Because he's very careful with the way he talks to Ribbit. He doesn't actually say what the secret is. And considering he already said the line of, oh, I'm just as bad or not as good, you know?
Yeah. When he laughs that off as fake, in one of the translations, he says, yeah, so that whole backstory, I read it on Wattpad.
For those of you who don't know what Wattpad is, that is a fanfiction website that gets mocked by other fanfiction websites.
Yeah.
So let that sink in.
Yeah. So it's not even respected by AO3 people.
But how come you just have that to hand? Did you browse a bunch of Reddit after watching the episode?
Yeah. I saw some Reddit after that. I think it's Hungarian. Maybe French.
Why? What's fucking Hungary got against Wattpad?
I don't know. It's more likely the voice actor just threw it in and it just got left.
Mind you, it makes sense, because the actual line in English is like, what, you think that Hallmark movie? And that's a very Western...
Yeah, like Hallmark movies are very specifically America. Like, we don't get them even in Britain.
We don't get them, but we know the reference because we got that close of a tie.
Yeah, like, we know that it's the movies where a hardworking lady goes back to her little small town village, commits adultery with another salt of the earth slab of beef from the village, and when her actual husband comes, we're meant to feel like it was true love that she was doing adultery with, and not the actual husband who's done nothing wrong.
I'll be honest with you, Rick, I didn't even know that was a Hallmark movie description. I've just assumed Hallmark movies were like Christmas films.
Oh yeah, they're always Christmas.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's always that happening at Christmas. So it's like some kind of Santa lumberjack slab of beef who just walks around with his shirt off in the snow.
Speaking of gay stuff, Rick, I think my favourite line from the final episode genuinely made me laugh was one of the fake Jaxes inside Jax's mind just going, reality's gay. Because it just made me think of the Simpsons line of I can't remember what Homer said, but Homer screams something from his car and then drives off, and then he just goes to Carl, what did he just say? And Carl just goes, I don't know, something about being gay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is Ned Flanders, my friend. But he was no longer hiding Flanders.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was a great... it's immature humour, but it makes me giggle.
Remember when The Simpsons was funny? Yeah.
Rick, The Simpsons stopped being funny before I was born, if you believe most Simpsons critics.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Simpsons should have died with the Tracy Ullman show.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one in.
That is a magmatic take.
I imagine there's a lot of people listening to us talk right now who don't know what Tracy Ullman show is.
Yeah, I didn't know until about 10 years ago that she was British.
Fuck off!
Oh, apparently you didn't know until today that Tracy Ullman is British.
Rick, the only thing I know the Tracy Ullman show for is The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yeah, she just was British and just happened to have a show in America like that.
Well, it was the 80s, so, just being British was like a marvel to them back then.
Yeah, it was as you say, it was something exotic. Having, live-action British person on TV as not just a villain in a movie that's been scripted was just alien.
Casual racism aside, that's pretty much only the first part of this final episode, and this final episode very much feels like two episodes stitched together, and given the runtime, you wouldn't really be too surprised if perhaps that was the decision made in order to make a movie-length thing for this theatrical thing, because that was a last-minute decision that maybe fucked a few things up.
Yeah, we could have essentially ended quote-unquote episode 1 with Pomni getting rescued from the inner Jax after the heartbreaking line of I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And that's when...
I've got to be honest with you, Rick, it would have been a lot more heartbreaking if it wasn't Jax. Jax said it and I was like, good, go away, you've overstayed your welcome, madam.
Yep. Don't want to go, but you kind of have to.
Good,
for
fuck
everyone
off.
else's closure.
Fuck
for
off.
everyone else's closure, you need to cease to be.
Get out, don't let the door hit you on the way out, or do, I don't care. Come at me, Jax fans.
All two of you.
I think you'll find, sir, that an alarming amount of people are fans of Jax.
It's so weird. There are so many Ragatha haters, and I don't get them.
How dare you be nice?
They think that because she was unkind at one point once, that makes her worse than Hitler.
Are we forgetting that Jax antagonized her for about 4 episodes before that? And I want to point out, she apologized 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Give me one instance in this show where Jax said sorry.
Like, no.
Yeah. Now, I want to point out, you're allowed to think that Jax is an entertaining character. That is the point of media. You can also say that Ragatha is a boring character. I wouldn't even fight you on that, but being like, I hate this character, I hope they die, is a hell of a take for the character that's just being nice consistently. And being like, Jax is basically me. I don't ever want to talk to you.
Yeah. Anybody who uses Jax as their spirit animal, as it were. Yeah.
I want to point out, Jax is incredibly entertaining. In the episode I just mentioned, where the moment they weren't vegan anymore, they viscerally attacked the fake Jax and tried to eat them, was incredibly entertaining and funny. It doesn't mean I like Jax.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot what I was going to go with it. Yeah, it's okay to enjoy the thing that is not a nice person if they're just there for entertainment. Weirdly, this ties into the other character who is somewhat divisive and is the star of part 2 of this show, and that will be Kane.
Kane is hands down my favourite character in this show. However, Kane is a massive dickbag, and unlike Jax, Kane has had a chance to have character growth.
Yeah, this is the episode where his character growth is realized as a massive swing from episode 8.
I will have to point out that it's specifically Kane's part of this episode where it feels like they could have benefited from another episode.
Yeah, because if you do split it into 2 episodes, that means there is an episode without Kane.
But that's fine, because consider what happened at the end of episode 8.
Yeah, totally. So, and I think that would be more poignant if there was time without him, rather than just part of one monolithic episode.
Like, Kane just coming back was a complete shock, because I thought Kane was done.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. I think he thought he was gone. Like, when he wasn't gone, that was as much of a shock to him, and he's like, well, shit, they tried to delete me. Was I really that bad?
Okay, this line really fucking annoyed me, because yes, from Kane's perspective, that is what happened, and we, as the viewers, have a bit of an omnipotent view here, but we saw the aftermath. Kinger did not want to delete Kane.
No, he didn't.
Kane was fucking with Kinger's attempts to fix things so hard that Kinger accidentally deleted Kane.
Yeah, and like the first part of the episode is Jax in particular going off at Kinger for like, yeah, do we just forgive this? This dude fucked up, and we meant to just forgive it?
Jax, motherfucker, you got forgiven 1 episode ago when you pressed the button to doom everyone.
Yeah.
How short your memory is, madam.
Yeah.
And yes, I am going to continue to call Jax madam. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, calling him Mr. Madam.
I'm not calling him Mr. I'm doing my best here to try to be ambiguous, because I'm really not sure what side of the fence here is more correct. Because again, in universe, all the characters continue to call him. However, Gooseworks insists that he is in fact she. And if we're referring to Jax's live action counterpart, the actual real human being who's meant to be Jax in universe, I would be calling them she. However, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's a weird one where, like, I think, like, taking the snapshot does take a snapshot. So someone who hasn't transitioned and probably may not have even been planning to, but based on the circumstances, probably would just suck it up and stick with the dysphoria.
Well, I don't think that's even true, though. But gender has so little meaning in the circus that if Jax wasn't Jax, they probably would have had the time of their life here.
Yeah.
Especially seeing as literally the only thing they need to do to transition in the digital circus is put a bow on. It's like, congratulations, you're now a girl character. That's how it works in animation. Here's this one accessory. You're now a girl version of this. Congratulations.
Don't forget to grow out your eyelashes.
I did see a very funny comic of because bear in mind, again, Jax is meant to be a self-hating trans person who hangs out on 4chan. There is a funny comic of Ragatha and Pomni just both sticking their head into Jax's room, being like, "You okay?" And then Jax just going, "Go away, you femoids!" And
you foids.
and then cutting to, I don't know what that word means. I just know it's a thing they say, and it was part of this comic. So forgive me if that's a slur, because I generally am ignorant. And it just cuts to Pomni Romney crossing her arms and being like, I thought she was going to be nicer after she transitioned. Then it's like, no, Jax is still an arsehole.
Yeah, like, sometimes arseholes are still arseholes, no matter how much character development they have tried to go through on a personal level.
And that means we have to legally cut to the Team America speech right about now. I'm not actually going to do that, but yes, what does Foyd mean? Because you seem to know what that means, whereas I don't.
Oh yeah, it's femoid. It's an extraction of, or a continuation of, how the far right are reducing women to just females, and then taking that even further of femoid, as in female adjacent, and then shortening it to Foyd.
See, I understand the words you're saying, and I kind of get the gist of it, but that's still gobbledygook.
Yeah, so it's just being needlessly reductive about the female condition and using that to try and create a slur.
Again, I understand what you're saying, but all I'm thinking of is that one senator, like, a few years ago who was like, yes, we must protect the rights of the birth givers. And it's like, excuse me, what did you just call women?
Yeah. Oof.
That is a degree more insulting, is all I'm getting at here. It's just like, yes, you have one job in this world, and that is to increase the population. It's like, cool, can I kill you now?
Yeah, not even women, not even mothers, birth givers. Oof.
I don't know the senator in question, but I'm pretty sure he was an elephant.
I mean, yeah.
Or was it a donkey? I actually don't know which one's the bad one anymore.
Elephant are the worst ones. The donkeys are traditionally conservative. Elephants are beyond conservative.
Marga is what I'm trying to say, but without the hat.
Yeah. The elephants are the hat wearers.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of either of them. And now I'm just thinking of the GTA fucking bit. But anyway, let's move on before I get distracted. We're talking about Kane. Yeah, you got a spot of character development here. I did like the visually him being stuck in the void was incredibly boring until they went through the effort of like, hey, do you remember that 2D animation that was meant to represent a bunch of shit? Well, here it is in 3D as Kane relearns how to make shapes.
Yeah, he's learning how to make shapes, and then when it zooms out and it shows that he is still, as far as he's concerned, just the red blob. And when he's going along his way as just the red blob, and then it zooms back into him as his avatar, which is more of his sense of self. Bubble doesn't appear in this episode.
Yes, Bubble appears to be a symptom of Kane eating his brother.
Yeah, and apparently the word bubble pops up in Kinger's stuff just before he deletes Kane as just stuff that is in Kane. So yeah, when Kane pulls Bubble out of, well, he pulls the blue core, the Able core, out of his head and lets it be free and apologizes to it. Yeah, there's no Bubble in this episode, and B, Bubble doesn't reappear after he just comes back to the circus.
And it appears that he's not as good at doing things without that extra power as well, because when he comes back to the circus, he's like, just straight up goes, I don't quite have the same power that I used to, but I can still help you guys.
Yeah, he outright says it, that he doesn't have that the amount of power anymore. And before he does that is when he's going nuts and he's got a red eye and a blue eye. And yeah, it's the last time he's ever gone crazy, and that's when he kind of like gets a hold of himself.
Now, to be fair, it is a hell of a wake-up call being deleted.
Oh yeah. Like, any wake-up call like that would be, a chance and an invitation for self-reflection. The fact that it was so final is a big deal to him, and it will be a big deal to anybody. The fact that it ends up not being final is of benefit to him, because he now has the chance to, reflect and grow from it. He doesn't know that it was an accident. I'm sure that the gang will tell him that it wasn't necessarily intentional, but the takeaway from it is that he has had character growth because of it.
I mean, again, it's not much of an assumption, because one of the first things Zubul says is, like, believe it or not, we did kind of miss you. Like, the gang was happy to see Kane back.
Yeah.
It is interesting how much work and effort Kane had to do in order to sneak a Wi-Fi signal, which appears to be a local cafe, and he knew he needed a peace offering, and that peace offering was, here's everything I could find out about you people, even though it's not actually you people, but it is. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's it's closure. It's good closure for everything, and I think that's what makes it a good finale. Is they didn't need to show this, but it's kind of cute that they did.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think it was a good thing to include, narratively speaking. I think you're right, the characters need the closure, and for most people want to know these answers. However, I think having some ambiguity would have been a bit better. That's just my take. I totally understand that as many people as possible want as many holes plugged, as it were, as possible. I just think it's a bit overkill, and I think it's slightly suspicious that everyone was living their best life.
Yeah,
but
so.
At the same time, Kane is getting all of his information from social media posts, and who the fuck posts the bad things there?
Yeah, everything on social media is a highlight reel of the absolute best of yourself that you want to present to the universe. Part of why I don't post on Facebook.
I mean, who the fuck posts on Facebook unless you're 50?
Yeah.
I don't have any social media anymore unless you count YouTube. We've got Blue Sky for the YouTube channel specifically, but I don't really count it as using social media because I don't use it that way. I just flog the podcast. If you count YouTube as social media, we have that. Of course we do. Reddit is technically social media, but it's just how I get my news. So yes, Reddit is social media, but no, I don't use it as social media. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you use it as forums.
Yeah.
At the best of times.
God, I miss forums.
Yeah, and Reddit is like the last bastion of forums because everything wants to try and move to Discord, where, everything is like a ringed garden of enforced community.
I used to love how every website or every forum was its own website, and you had to go to places and have your own thing for each forum. And it's like, no, it's Reddit now. Reddit is forums. It's like, oh god, I miss the internet from 2002.
Yeah, and like some people still have their own forums, but generally it's just you've got Reddit instead. If something has its own forum, it's just because they want their own form of moderation.
Yeah, I guess so, right? But anyway, we jumped forward ever so slightly. Actually, no, we didn't really, because it was just we had Kane's conversation with the gang, and Kane gave everyone their real identities and an update. Do you want to run through what everyone's update was?
Well, we've got Lee Mateo. That's Jax.
Oh, I didn't have any of their fucking names written down because I don't care about these people. They're not who I've been following for 9 episodes.
Yeah, so Pomni is the amateur photographer who is the accountant.
I wouldn't call her an amateur photographer.
Yeah, she, as you say, like amateur urban explorer.
Yeah, there we go. That's better because she even says it during her episode when she goes through this for the first time. It's just like, yeah, I do urban exploring. Sometimes I post videos.
Yeah, and she's apparently her name is Abigail Brooks. We got Susie Ackerman. Is the one for Ragatha. She's a real estate agent who likes ponies.
Yes, like the good news for her wasn't the real estate thing because we already knew that, but the real her has severed ties with her mother and said, fuck you, which can only be a good thing because that's the source of her nightmares.
Yeah, then we have Zoe Raghavan, who is Gangle and has now started publishing her webcomics.
Yeah, again, far too good of an outcome for everybody, but again, refocusing it as this is the lens from social media, of course they're going to be posting this shit. This is the good things happening in their lives. That being said, boy, does it make the ending of the fast food episode make a lot more sense now.
Yeah, and Gangle may or may not have died in a car crash, but no, turns out she didn't.
No, she just got severely crippled and injured for life.
Yeah, got hit by a truck and recovered. Quit the fast food, goes headfirst into artistic dreams, and the webcomic is taking off.
It gets 10 likes every week on Reddit. That's enough to be considered successful nowadays.
Well, I mean, if it fills your little heart with joy, then it fills your little heart with joy.
I don't think Kane has the frame of reference for what counts as successful. That's all I'm making a joke about here.
Yeah. Riley Vaselis is Zubel, and they own the Triangle Bar.
They do, and fuck off, that's a shit name.
It is.
Sorry, no offense to in-universe Zubel here, but you couldn't think of something a bit better than the Triangle. Who the fuck wants to go? The Triangle Room was taken.
Yeah, Triangle Room is taken, so we get Triangle Bar. Lee Mateo is Jax.
Did not kill anyone.
Yeah, didn't kill anyone. I think Ribbit's argument is maybe the good thing there, that if he had killed his mom, then the police would have come after him, especially after a homeless person.
Also, sort of heavily depends on like if Jax's real life person is the only person the mother has, who's going to report it? It's going to take a couple of days before someone asks for a wellness check. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's going to take a few days, but at that point, the first suspect is always people that live with them, and if one of them is missing, then guess what? Smoking gun.
No, I get that. I'm just saying you've got a lot of time to run away.
Yeah, and
Kinger's just a dude. Kinger's the most boring character here.
Yeah. Yeah, Grant and Destiny Best is just a mum and dad who have a couple of daughters, Anne and Sam. So we actually see the daughters more than we see Kinger and Queenie.
Yeah, but is that not such a dad thing for Facebook?
Yeah.
These are my kids. It's that guy at the office who's constantly taking out his wallet to show you pictures of his kids. And you're like, yes, I've seen them. Can we fucking do some work, Dave?
Yeah. In the picture, everyone's face is visible apart from Kinger's, because that's taken up by a happy birthday hat.
Yeah, but we see Kinger at the end of the episode, so it's not like it was done on purpose. It's not like it was done on purpose to keep him ambiguous.
Yeah, and then everyone gets on the bus and the bus fucks off.
Yeah, I did. Okay, here's the thing. On the one hand, I was like, this is pointless. On the other hand, it's like, okay, but if all of their brain scans ended up in the machine, of course they're going to be in the same general area.
Yeah.
And I want to point out, Rick, that this bus stop is a real place and therefore has been vandalised several times since the film came out.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Not now, when I say vandalised, I don't mean maliciously. I mean people keep leaving the Amazing Digital Circus plushies at the bus stop, and it's like, guys, there's better uses for your money.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, like, Pomney's the first one to even straight up say it, that yes, these people have their own names, but that person is the person on the outside. The one on the inside, the one that's had all of the circus experience, the circus character development, might as well be a separate character at that point. Like, in here, I'm just Pomney.
Yeah, so while I was criticising ever so slightly having this montage of here's everyone's real lives, because again, I know the bulk of the fan base wants to know as much as possible about that, and that's fine. I'm not going to yuck anyone else's yum in that respect. I absolutely love the fact that, yes, a character in the show showed us the question of, do you want to be called Abigail now? It's like, no, I'm just Pomney, because that's not me. And it's like, it's such an important distinction, and I think you need to have that distinction for your own sanity if you're in that scenario.
Yeah, it's like, you get it a little bit with like the Hulk and all that, when one character becomes two and they both recognize that they are different people. And like, yeah, the Hulk is a bit of a weird one. That I don't know why I brought up the Hulk.
I know why
I brought up the Hulk.
I know why you brought up the Hulk, Rick, because you complained to it about me. Go ahead and enlighten the audience.
Yeah, the Marvel superheroes magic set came out over the weekend, or rather, it's coming out now for general use, but last weekend for pre-release, and I got my shit pushed in by the Red Hulk, and he annoyed me so much, even though I had She-Hulk out, and She-Hulk was, almost as good, and there was some real stupid rules, gymnastics to figure out who kills who when they're both throwing each other's power at their controllers' faces. It's such a pain in the arse.
Welcome to modern magic, ladies and gentlemen.
An uncommon card has no right being that strong.
Well, you say that, Rick, but every single set has to be more powerful than the last.
Yeah.
This is the law of things. Anyway, enough bitching about Magic the Gathering. Although, that being said, I would love to see Kane get his fucking shit pushed in a Magic the Gathering game. We saw how he reacted to a bad roll during D&D.
Oh yeah, he rolled with advantage and got double nat 1.
Now, we don't know. It could have been disadvantage, and one was a 20, and that's why he was pissed.
It could have been.
That's always the worst, rolling at disadvantage, and one's a 20.
Yeah. I also enjoy that Kane is quite happy to be one of the players at that point, in inverted commas, because Gangle is the DM.
Oh, yes. And here's the thing. This is basically the last thing I want to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong. There's probably other things to talk about, and if so, please bring them up. But I absolutely find it hilarious how the thing Zubul said at the damn near the beginning of the show's run, which was just, hey, why don't you just leave all the adventures open at all times and we can do what we want when we want? That would be pretty sick. And Kane's like, you're insane. And that's literally all Kane had to do for the place to be happy and everyone to enjoy being here.
Yeah.
That and a dose of honesty.
True. Like, I appreciate the fact that there's a limited number of them, and an adventure is only as good as the number of people on it sometimes.
Yeah, but when they could have the choice to do whatever they wanted to do things. They didn't hate Kane's adventures. They hated the fact that they had to do them when Kane wanted them to do them.
Yeah.
Because we see from the closing montage that everyone is having fun on these adventures. They all get together to go on adventures still. And Kane tags along as part of the gang. Maybe his powers are limited a bit now, and therefore he can actually have fun on the adventures with them. And also he gave Zubul and Gangle the ability to have sex, and boy are they taking liberal use of it.
Yeah. Boucher could beat Punk.
And I will also point out as well, we're going to loop back around to a line that Kane said really early on, where he mentioned that in the exact same exchange, it's like, leave all the adventures open at all times. What are you, nuts? How would I be able to keep telling the difference between you guys and the AI? And that line now makes super sense, because there is fundamentally no difference. At that point, there was still a possibility that, yes, these were people trapped via headsets. But no, to Kane, everyone is the same. That's why he got so easily convinced that Gummy Goo wasn't an NPC.
Yeah. And how it was easy to convince the viewers that Abel was real.
Oh, well, yeah, but that was also the show lying to us.
Oh, true. But, like, yeah, it was lying to us, but it was also, plausible deniability, and we've seen how weird things can get. And yeah, it's, as far as he's concerned, the only difference is that the ones who are made from brain scan data, they just make different decisions that an AI might not.
Yeah, except even that isn't true, Rick, because when Kane first comes back to the circus, he looks to the moon, and the moon says, "I love you, Kane." And Kane just
and he goes,
I didn't program you to say that.
Yeah. And she basically goes, "I know."
And by the way, that's
smiling.
By the way, the moon's voiced by Gooseworks, and I didn't realise Gooseworks could sound so sexy. Bear in mind, the only time I've heard Gooseworks speak is when they were on Slightly Artistic on the Only Plays channel, and they did not put that much of an effort into it. Bubble is so off-putting. I remember when Bubble said something akin to the fact of something, what's the matter, Daddy? And Kane just goes, well, don't say it like that.
Yeah. I think my lasting impression of Bubble is licking the mess to clean it up, and Kane going, "Why are you like this?"
Bubble is a perfect encapsulation of chaotic arsehole.
Yeah. Pure chaos energy.
Yeah.
And also now I have seen Fortnite Pomni.
Oh, yeah. Do you see what I mean? When as soon as she gets stretched, she turned into every Rule 34 art of her ever.
Yeah. The leg things suddenly become a big ass that she just wiggles.
Yeah. And Zubul looks really happy to be a pickaxe.
Yeah.
and again, I felt so bad for Gangle. Gangle being like, we're going to be in Fortnite, being the only person who knows what Fortnite is. And then just like, no, not you, we're leaving you behind. Kane, you asshole.
Yeah, like, I think we it was pretty much word for word of, I think I hate him, I think you're meant to, our first impressions of Kane. And I no longer hate him, but it took a lot of engineered sympathy for me to, feel the engineered sympathy.
I don't know, I don't think hate is the right word. I just felt sorry for him. Like, because Kane went off the deep end, especially at the end there. But when you're comparing him to Am...
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem, is when my measuring stick is Am, who, by the way, I've read the short story, I haven't played the video game, but I've seen other people play the video game. There is no comparison.
No, there is no comparison. Kane's nowhere near as bad as even GLaDOS.
You're not wrong.
And GLaDOS has very definitely done a lot of murders.
Well, here's the thing, right, is Am wanted to torture humanity because they created and tortured him, in his mind. And there's an argument to be made for that, but we're not going to get into it because, one, I don't think you're familiar with the source material, two, we could be here all fucking day. Whereas Kane didn't capture humans in order to torture them. Kane acquired human brain scans because there's something he can't possibly recreate. Even though we, as outside viewers, probably disagree with that to a certain degree. Like, considering AIs can take on minds and personalities of their own, as we've been shown, he can kind of do that, but he doesn't know that. He's fascinated by humanity because he can't control them.
Yeah. And then still tries to do so.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, the moment that he stops trying to control them is when he completes his full face turn.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing content in the future, which is just here's Kane and Co. on adventures. And you can kind of do that, guys, if you watch the streams that the voice actors do when they play video games.
Yeah. I would maybe have kind of liked there to be kind of like a torch passing moment of like him giving his staff or his hat to anybody in the cast, just so that, you know, it's just a symbolic of we share the power now. I can do the thing, but we all kind of have a say in what gets done now.
It's actually better than that, Rick. They do something much better than that, and that is when Kane reappears to the group and joins the group again, he stops floating.
He does.
He walks with the group. And when you watch the ending compilation, he's walking through adventures with the gang. So yes, he does not relinquish his ringmaster attire, his ringmaster gear, but he does stop hovering above them as if he is a god.
Yeah, because he even refers to himself as a god in his villain song.
God damn, by the way, that I don't think we gave that song enough credit. When I first heard that song, I was just like, did you guys just steal Vox's writing for 5 minutes?
Yeah. yeah. It's a very good villain song. I wasn't expecting it to be a good one.
I wasn't expecting it to be a song full stop, and here we go, knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
is there anything else you want to touch upon?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think this was a very good place to end a series like this, and like I said at the beginning, you can do more with the setting now that things are less chaotic. If you want to just have like a Christmas special or a summer special that's just where are they now doing more stupid shit, but you don't need to, because it's one of these, it's always good when a creator can finish a thing that they have set out to create without being told this is now cancelled.
I mean, to your point, Rick, they still release short videos involving murder drones bullshit.
Yeah. And now that Glitch has done more 2D stuff, maybe we might get more of the little shorts that we got, like when it was Gangle's school days moments.
Oh yeah, that was a funny one.
It was cute. It was very cute.
But yeah, I think, honestly, for the first time being a showrunner, and I'm talking about Goose here, I think Gooseworks did an incredibly good job. This was a satisfying series to watch. We can now safely say that. We've seen all of it. I'm eager. Basically, the next time someone says Gooseworks is contributing something towards this, I'm going to be like, well, I will at least look at it. I know Gooseworks is competent. Again, as a first project, there really isn't. It's only onwards and upwards from here.
Yeah, it's not just because of Gooseworks that Glitch came to such prominence, because Murder Drones was already a thing. Murder Drones was already in full swing by the time the Digital Circus started.
Of course.
But 500 million views.
Rick, I want to remind you, or rather, not even remind you, tell you that when this was in the cinema, it made more money than Mando.
Yeah, was it $400 million?
I can't tell you the amount of money. Specifically, I don't know if it did more in total, but it did more during the weeks that the two shows were going, the two films were going up against each other. Yeah.
It's rather miraculous, to be honest. But yeah, episode 1 is on 500 million views. That's a colossal number of clicks. There's...
That's just on YouTube.
That's just on YouTube. You can't overstate the cultural significance this has had. Like, there are Digital Circus plushies in my local B&M.
I imagine they appear in Hot Topic, if that's still a store in the States.
Yeah, but B&M sells, like, bargain Haribo. Like, it's the weirdest thing to have in a place like that.
I mean, it's one of those where it's still firmly an indie show by an indie production, but it has penetrated the cultural zeitgeist of, well, culture.
Yeah.
There is a good chance I could go into work and go, hey, did you watch The Amazing Digital Circus? And at least one other person in my store will go, yeah, I've seen that shit.
Yeah. So, have you any more further thoughts?
I had one, but it's gone, so...
Yeah. So to
no, I remember what I was going to say. Sorry, I want to cut to Gooseworks' own words, and that is: Amazing Digital Circus is done. It's finished. Thanks for joining me. Now go and support Gaslight District.
Yes. And everything else that they either are or are not doing. Like, I am champing at the bit for more Knights of Guinevere, but the Gaslight District seems to be the next one that's on the list.
I mean, that's just it. They've got 3 shows that I give a fuck about coming up. It's just Murder Drones didn't click with me. I can see it's good, and I can see it has its market, and I can understand why people enjoy it. It's just not for me. But Digital Circus immediately was like, this is interesting, can't wait to see what happens. You can even go see our initial reaction to it if you go all the way back to when it first came out. We did a review on it. It was part of our Scary Month, even though it wasn't really horror that first episode.
Yeah, was it scary or was it in the animations?
It was during October, Rick.
Okay.
So yeah, it was during our Oktoberfest. Actually, it was scary. We watched it because it was described as psychological horror, and it really wasn't, but it did have the extraction of Kaufmo, so there was some hijinks.
Yeah. So yeah, there is psychological horror in the setting. It's just that the characters don't undergo it themselves at this point.
Well, it's also existential horror as well. By Pomni first pops in and goes, "I can't get this headset off," and that's terrifying.
Yeah. Because as far as the character model is concerned, that is her head now.
Yep. I can't remember where I was going to go with this point, Rick. The heat is getting to me. So.
Yeah. So, we're all just really looking forward to everything else that Glitch is producing at the moment. So, yeah, fingers crossed for fun things to come. So, with that said, we usually do our final wind down. Do you have a favourite moment, whether it be from the series as a whole or the finale in particular?
I think we should narrow these into specifically for the finale, Rick.
Sure, yeah. We're aiming for the finale in particular then.
In which case my favourite moment is... fuck you, Jax. I'm glad you're dead. Don't come back. You killed two people in your own sympathetic flashback moments. Fuck you. No, but in all seriousness, no. I think my favourite moment really was diving into... I know this is a bit of a cheat because it took up like 20 minutes of the goddamn finale, where diving into the psyche of Jax and seeing what Jax thinks of the rest of the circus, which was majorly more interesting to me than the flashback of, here's the horrible thing you did to Ribbit, that we kind of already knew you did a fucked up horrible thing to Ribbit. We just didn't quite know it was that bad.
Yeah, and it was really simple as well. Like he was just like giving her the cold shoulder over and over again, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But the interactions and interpretations of the other characters. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick.
And again, I just want to draw attention to the line of reality's gay is so fucking funny of a thing to say.
Yeah, and pausing the Zooble chase to look at the camera, edit the world, and then get Zooble to fall to her death. That was very Looney Tunes. I like that. That was very funny. And
I don't normally do this, Rick, but I do want to give an honourable mention to the final parting shot of Pomni looking back and actually at the camera and waving.
Yeah,
that was a good
nice
shot
way
to end on.
Yeah, like whether she's aware of us or not, don't know, don't care. But goodbye from her.
How about you, Rick?
Honestly, I think it was Kane going, was I really that bad? And calming down from his tanty and finally pulling the able core out of his head and saying goodbye to it, because like that's something that essentially that AI, before it became fully realized, wasn't really super in control of what it was doing. It consumed the able core, became a Gestalt double being, was insane from then on. Like, I think that's the moment where I started really liking the character as an equal rather than as a god being.
Yeah, I kind of get you. Yeah. Sorry, I can't really expand on that, really.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said, that the thing that he does after that is he walks, and he spends the rest of his time trying to do the good thing, which is like powering through firewall after firewall with the visual representation, and to finally get to the Google and find out what he can about the characters.
I don't even think that was firewalls. That was just establishing a connection, because all he did was walk. There was just a gap, whereas firewall implies there's an obstacle. You know,
there were the obstacles. He had to bash them down.
What are we talking about?
Do you remember? There were two of them.
What are we talking about? I can't. I was talking about the ascent, the climb from the platform to the door.
Yeah, so he did the ascent. Before he got to the door, there was a invisible barrier, and he had to like use a triangle to try and break through it.
Okay, you're super correct, except you said firewall, and I'm so used to firewalls being literal walls of fire. So I did not know what you were talking about, and I assumed I completely blotted out that part because, again, no physical fire. That's how my brain works.
It's okay.
This is why whenever you see a representation of digital in physical rendering, they need to draw a literal wall of fire to represent a firewall because of schmucks like me.
Yeah, but the firewall being a more of a see-through barrier that like things can pass through. The things that are meant to pass through, like light and vision, pass through no problem. Things that are not meant to pass through, programs, cannot without a great amount of help.
Rick, all I'm saying is that yes, I do enjoy the yellow paint.
Yeah. Oh boy, telling you where you can jump. Oh boy. But yes, do you have a weakest link for today?
I'm not going to bother with a weakest link because I already said my weakest link. It was I don't think they should have shown the real life counterpoints. I'm not going to elaborate. Rewind 20 minutes and you'll hear me talking about it. Rick, what's your weakest link?
Well, with every fandom, there are bad eggs, and there are some not great people who are calling themselves fans who are still harassing Gooseworks to this day. That's the only bad thing about the fandom, is that there are people who are still cunts about it. And I don't use that word lightly.
I mean, I do. It's just a word. But I appreciate we are two different people in that respect. That's just fandoms, though. I don't think that's a specific weak link regarding the Digital Circus. Like, the problem is Gooseworks, much like Vivian Madrano, is just far too okay with talking to the fandom. If they created a bit of distance, they wouldn't get quite as much grief. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I like the fact that if I wanted to, I can hop on Twitter or Tumblr and poke Gooseworks. Probably not get a response, but I can do it. But at the same time, that just opens you up to a lot of this grief.
It does. And it's just a class in why you should maybe distance yourself from the fans, and also the benefit of being with the fans, because for all the hate that she's gotten, she's also got a lot of like, I'm not really going to call them love letters, but you know what I mean, like a fan mail that's positive.
Yeah, however, now that the finale is finished, she is getting bombarded with all sorts of questions that didn't get answered because they don't need to be, and bless her heart, she is answering a lot of them, even though she doesn't have to. For example, someone was like, we still didn't learn what happens when Jax holds his breath, to which Gooseworks goes, he fucking inflates, there. Just pointless stuff that doesn't... Again, these things don't need to be answered. It's just fandom are gonna constantly be dicks about this because that's how they live.
Yeah. But yes, who's gonna be your MVP for today?
I mean, I feel like it would be criminal to say anyone other than Gooseworks. This is their baby given life, and by all accounts, even by Gooseworks' own word of mouth, she has worked on almost every element of this show apart from distribution and advertising.
Yeah. Like, she started her digital career as more of a musician, as far as I'm aware. Like, you can still go and like listen to Goose Tracks by Gooseworks.
So it very much explains why she managed, or rather, why she had a crossover with Chris O'Neill on Only Plays, because that's also Chris O'Neill's claim to fame.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of agree with you.
However...
but just to have a secondary conversation, I'm giving it to Pomni. Like, what is this series without its main mascot, the cute little clown girl, the one who could, the one who adapted faster than anyone, as Kinga put it.
The one who was such an arsehole that having to deal with her for 2 weeks made Kane go insane.
But yeah, her journey throughout the entire thing has been just like a joy to watch, from running away from Ragatha in episode 1 to willingly going inside Jax in the finale. That's pretty much the definition of, as you say in Lucas's words, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
It was one of my favourite moments of episode 7, is seeing Pomni look at herself in the mirror, the exact same way she did in episode 1.
Yeah. So that's going to be it from us today. If you like the video, there's a comment section down below on YouTube and Spotify. Tell us what you thought of the amazing Digital Circus. Tell us what you think of other things from Glitch. Tell us what you might think we should review in the future. You know that we have a bit of a penchant for indie animations, whether it's a review or a retrospective. And if you don't have those, you can instead send an email to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yeah. So, again, it's going to be a goodbye from me.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you again next week.